What's up, ACF? It's Robin Isaac, our cameraman. This is our first podcast, and we want to talk about things that have been on our minds and stuff that we want to address about our organization. So let's get into it. So if anyone wants to compete, message us on Instagram at Amateur Championship Fighting or on Facebook at RobACF. Just send us a message and we can schedule you a date and a time to come out and compete, boxing or MMA. We are located in Edgewater, Maryland. Anyone in the DMV interested in coming out to compete or outside the DMV? We also try to do our best to maintain a 25-pound weight difference for all of our fights, as well as trying to make sure both fighters are within the same experience level.
We don't want someone with more experience fighting against someone who has less experience.
Exactly.
It'd be really, really bad and looks unprofessional, and no one really wants to see that. First thing we're going to really talk about, like one of the bigger things, is our title fight that we, were originally going to have in December. Rob, would you care to comment?
So, what had happened in December was we had someone who was 3-0 back out of the fight within a week and a half before the fight, and I didn't want to throw a replacement into the fight who wasn't a worthy competitor for it to actually be a good fight. I didn't want a one-sided fight in our first title fight not be as good as it could be.
I completely agree on that. Like, I would hate to see someone that's not like ready or worthy of a fight, because having a first championship fight is something, in my opinion, that should be like a really, really big deal, and that should have people that are able to fight and has proven themselves and is proving dedication, time, effort into training, coming out, consistency, all that stuff. So if they're not out here competing regularly, then we shouldn't give them a title opportunity or any chance to really like compete or fight or in a championship fight. That's not really fair to other people who have been around longer. So we also would like to talk about people who we would like to talk about people who we think should come back out and compete. So people like Blake or even Matt. Blake, I would really, really love to see come back out. He was a really, really good fighter. He only came out one time, but he was really, really good, and we really enjoyed watching him fight, and we'd love to see him fight again. Another competitor that comes to mind would be Johnny and Nathan Beans. Both of those are also really, really good fighters. They've only had a few matches, but they were really high quality, and we know both of them put time into the gym and put time into effort into training and working out and keeping up their physical condition to make sure they could compete in fights like that. They just stuff happened and they stopped competing, sadly, and we would love to see them come back out. Care to add anything?
I would definitely really like to see Blake come back out. He did an amazing job in his fight with Matt.
He did fight out of his weight class too, which was really impressive. And had I been a judge there, I think it would have been different. I personally would have ruled in Blake's favor. I believe, if I remember correctly, the decision was 2-1 in favor of Matt. And so in the third round, it ended up being a tie, and ended up deciding it was really no clear winner. But I believe, going back and rewatching the footage, that Blake was the actual winner. That's just my opinion, and I believe some other people would agree with me. But I would like to see him come back out. I'm not saying the third judge was biased, but I know he was really good friends with Matt. So maybe that influenced it. Maybe he just wasn't watching or paying attention. But going back over the footage, I personally can see that, in my opinion, that Blake would have won 2 of the 3 rounds, giving him the victory in that overall fight. And I would love to see him come back out and compete.
So, the main reason why we started this organization was to give people an opportunity to express their anger and also their frustration in a safe and legal way. I'd much rather see people box or do MMA rather than see them fight on the streets with knives or guns and not having a 100% chance of coming back home to their families. I'd rather see them box or do MMA
it's a
that-
much more safe outlet for them than as opposed to like something violent. You know, we even support beef matches. So like, you know, Rob's first video, you know, his fight named Jesus. It was against Luke, which was a beef match. There was really bad blood there, and I ended up cutting the camera short because of the way the round ended, and I really wish I would have kept rolling an extra 30 seconds because. Like the hype that was in the air, like Rob was all super hyped up, you know, screaming and whatnot, and the energy was really, really alive, and like we will 100% support beef matches. So if you and someone have beef with one another, come out, fight it out in the ring, and squash that shit. You know, it is a much safer, much healthier way to get aggression out than you know, fighting with guns, knives, or doing stupid shit that, you know, could get someone hurt or killed. This is a much safer way to do it and a better way to go about it. But yeah, by all means, bring out your beef matches. If you hate someone y'all want to fucking throw down by all means. We don't care. We will give you the place to do it, and we will give you an audience to see who really comes out on top.
Yeah, like I said, I'd rather see people fight in a sanctioned match and actually have a 100% chance of coming back home to their families, which is the main reason why I started this. And I hope I can reach out to more people that could use this as an outlet for themselves, to better themselves.
We do have a new fighter. We've had one match with him. We're trying to schedule more matches with him. It's just trying to find someone in his weight class and everything. It's just, you know, kind of hectic because scheduling and whatnot. But we're working on it. But he is a personal trainer. He has offered us to help train us and other people. I'm not entirely sure of what he charges, but we know that he is really, really good, and we've seen him compete, and we're going to continue to see him compete. And let me tell you, he will impress you guys, and you guys will be like, damn, all right, you know, this guy's legit, and you should definitely hit him up if you guys are interested in training or getting better in boxing or just physical fitness, and then being able to come out and compete in a match.
So we also have, or are looking to get, some merch.
We have some hoodies and we have some shirts. Usually you'll see, you know, myself, Rob, or Jeremy. We don't really see me because I'm behind the camera all the time, but you'll usually see Jeremy or Rob repping the shirt with his logo, and then like there will be a bigger logo on the back with, you know, everything written on there. We also have a couple hoodies. So if that is something you guys are interested in, please let us know. We can, you know, start doing it to order. We can start getting it out there. We can figure out price and everything. We have no idea like a set price for like bulk and whatnot, but we can figure it out, and we can start getting merch out there because it's really cool and it really reps, and you know, it can help us out. And you know, it's a really cool logo. We actually had my cousin design the original logo. He's an artist, and so he drew it up by hand. We're eventually going to get it digitalized, so it's going to look a bit better for like a shirt, but it is a really, really cool image, and it's something that helps us a great deal, and it's something that's really, really cool, and it's something you can wear and show off to your friends. You know, people might see our matches and be like, okay, cool, that's awesome, I want one of those shirts now. So it's just something, an idea that we're floating around. You know, we would love to do it. You know, we're repping it just to keep the brand up. You know, help be more presentable and be more professional in everything we're trying to do and establish. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you pretty much hit everything on that topic. I wanted to also mention to subscribe to our Patreon. So all of our pay-per-views are going to be on Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/ACF29. And we are having monthly pay-per-views every single month on Patreon. We're going to do $15 a month at the moment. We're going to be doing 3 fights for $15 a month every month.
And these are going to be high quality fights. So these are the fights that we think are worthy of people interested. We will do teaser videos and like highlight, maybe like a little highlight clip of like part of it to get everyone interested and see what they're going to be paying for. So obviously we're going to show you what you're going to be paying for. We don't want to just say like, hey, you know, it's a shitty fight. You know, we want to give you a little taste of what's to come. You know. This first pay-per-view is pretty decent. I'm really excited for the second one. We already have some really, really good stuff scheduled. And I really can't wait to see what else that's going to come out of this. It's something that's small, but it does help us. And we're just trying to put our highest quality fights up there. And then when we do championship fights, when we do title fights, those will be on Patreon as well. And those will be like the 5-round fights. Those are going to be 5 2-minute round fights that are just going to be killer and you're not going to want to miss. Hopefully in the next month or so, we'll be able to have competitors start competing for titles. And that'll be really cool. That'll be really interesting. And you're only going to get it on Patreon.
Yeah, I can't wait for our first title fight. I'm going to be very excited for that.
It'll be a very good time. And one of the last things we're going to talk about, this will probably be a maybe 5-10 minute segment we're just going to rant on about, is people not wanting to fight. So we are very laid back. We don't care. We're very chill. Like, if you don't want to fight, cool. If you ask me, to, if you ask Rob to schedule a fight and he schedules it, and then you're getting cold feet, Friday or Saturday morning, just tell us. It's not that big of a deal. We don't really care. It's like, it's more inconvenient to us, and then it looks bad for us, and then we feel bad for the competitor that does come out. Because if we have one person cancel, one person comes out, then that person's making like a half-hour drive from where they are to come compete, and then their opponent doesn't show up because either they're scared or they got cold feet or they just didn't want to, and then we've heard, ridiculous excuses. I'm not going to name names, but I'll just tell you some of the stories. Like we've had someone literally last weekend tell us, oh yeah, I'm 15 minutes out, I'm 15, 16 minutes away, and about 20, 25 minutes goes by, we try and text them again. He goes, I'm 6 minutes away. I'm being pulled over by a cop right now. I need to get something straight with my registration or insurance. We're like, okay, cool, whatever. We get it. Cops in our area do take a long time to do shit, and they're kind of annoying. So about half hour after that, we're like, okay, it shouldn't take this long. So my friend and I, we took my car. We drove around like the area that's within like a 15-minute radius. We didn't see anything. There was no sign of anyone being pulled over. No cops in sight. And we're pretty sure he probably didn't even leave his bed. He was probably just staying there the whole time and just didn't want to actually come out and compete, or he got cold feet, or whatever the case may have been. He didn't want to fight. We've had, people make excuses about work. Like, one dude wanted to, say, his boss asked him to stay late 3 different times. He's supposed to get to work at 8:30, and then his boss asked him to stay till 9, and then to 10, and then to 11:30. Like, I understand once, maybe twice, but that seems highly unlikely that your boss is going to ask you to stay 3 times over. Like, that just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And so we don't really care if you don't want to show up, but, be honest about it. Don't ask us to schedule a fight and then, come up with excuses the day of. We've had people be like, that morning of on Saturdays, we usually do all our fights on Saturdays. Be like, like 10 o'clock, hey, you good? You still coming? They're like, yeah, I'm on my way, we're good. And then, fight time comes, and then we're blocked, or they're not going to message us back, they're going to leave us undelivered or read, and they're just nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen or heard from, and it's silly. Like, there's no reason to be able to sit there and then just lie. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, if you just didn't want to fight at 10 o'clock a.m., you should have told us, and then we wouldn't have had someone drive all the way out there to waste their time, gas, and money, and effort. If you didn't want to come out and fight, if you want to cancel the day of, it sucks, but it's much better than having people get there and then not being able to fight. If you can cancel in advance, like let's say an emergency actually does come up, or you're like, hey, let's say you had Rob schedule a fight for 2 weeks from now, and then the week of you're like, okay, I don't really want to fight, I'm getting scared, or I haven't prepared enough, I'm not ready, can you push it back a week, or I just don't want to do this at all. Awesome, great. Talk to us. We are more than willing to understand and more than willing to listen and figure stuff out. But just straight up no showing and just not saying anything is very rude, disrespectful. It's not even towards us. It's towards the other competitor. We could care less. We care the fact that someone else had came out and put in all the effort and time to come out and compete, and then you're just gonna leave them hanging there with nothing to do. It really, really sucks.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. It's very frustrating and very annoying that people can't be upfront and honest about if they actually want to come out and do this. I understand, some people aren't fighters. I totally understand, but don't hit me up, messaging me, telling me to schedule you a fight, and I do all this work to find you an opponent within the weight range
and skill range, because we
and
not
skill
only are we
range.
trying to find someone that weighs within 25 pounds above or below you, but we want someone that has similar experience, whether it's no experience, little experience, some amateur, professional, whatever your experience may be. We're trying to find someone that is has the same fight experience as you, so that way you're not going to go in someone who's better than you or someone who's worse than you, because we don't want to see one-sided fights. We have put out some of those, with I don't want to call him out because I really like him, but the Shadow is not the best fighter. I will admit he's gotten better slowly over fights, and I think he can improve some more. But he's always consistent. That is one thing that no one can deny about him, is that he is still coming back out week after week. Well, it's not actually. We usually schedule his fights usually like once a month, but still, point is he is still coming back out and still trying and putting in that effort. He's not canceling. He's not going to be a no-show. He's not going to do any of that. He's going to be coming out. And it is a bit of one-sided. It's not. Sometimes there are good fights with him. There's one on pay-per-view that is going to be really good, and that's not actually one-sided. And I'm actually really, really happy that fight turned out so well. But I mean, it's just we try to keep everything as fair and balanced as possible, so no one really has an advantage. Now, we have had competitors want to take weight advantages, so excuse me. They'll be like, yeah, put me up against someone heavier. That's completely fine. I'm totally willing to do it, and we'll do that. That is no problem. If you want to fight someone that's bigger than you, we have no problem with that. Let us know. But if you don't tell us that, we're going to try and keep it within the same experience and same weight, just to benefit everyone, and it's better for the content. It is better for the fighting. It is just all around. Just more entertaining for everyone.
And like I said, don't have me schedule you a fight if you have no intentions on coming out. It's very frustrating on my end doing all that work, and like Isaac said before, the person that's coming out has no opponent. And he did all that work training, preparing, and gets nobody to compete against. And it's very frustrating on my end, my crew's end, and also the competitor who showed up and prepared and had nobody to go up against. It's frustrating on everybody.
It makes us look bad. I mean, I know it shouldn't, because we're like fight promoters. We're not actually, it's not really our fault or our responsibility. I mean, yes, yeah, we should be finding people who are like reliable or whatever, but it's not always our fault. But it still hurts, because it's like it makes us feel bad and it makes us look bad if we have someone coming out who's like a really, really professional fighter. We had a guy named D come out, which we will release that video soon that he's in, and John as well has come out, and he got called out by Helios. And Helios was a no-show, and so we had to throw him in with someone who wasn't really prepared or ready, and underweight by like 40 pounds. It still ended up being a pretty decent fight. I'm not gonna say it wasn't. It was actually a really good fight, and it's going on pay-per-view. But I mean, it still sucks. Like, that was like a win. We just got really lucky that we had someone willing to do that right then and there. Like, that's not really gonna happen 99 times out of 100. It just won't. We're not gonna have someone there to fight that person, and it makes us look unprofessional. We were just trying to keep this as professional and as clean and safe as possible for everyone, but it hurts us and hurts our image to have professionals or amateurs come out and be ready to fight, and then we have no one because the other person backed out. It hurts us and it hurts everyone else as well.
And to add on D's video will actually be released towards the end of July.
Mid to end July, I would say. It really just depends. We gotta figure out everything that else is coming up before we drop his video, but because we still have some stuff we got to upload and edit and all that, but we do have D's fight ready to be uploaded at some point, so that will be a really good fight. We're just waiting on some stuff.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be at about July 24th or July 31st. We'll release his video onto YouTube. We'll keep his opponent a secret until we upload the video. You'll find out who he went up against. It was
a decent fight. It was better than we thought. It wasn't anything
that
crazy
bad of a
spectacular, but it was better than we had thought, and it ended up going pretty well. D gave us some good taste of what he can do, and we really want to find him someone who's able to compete on his level and someone who's actually going to be a really, really good match. But the match we did get was really good, like intro to like what he can do.
His opponent actually stepped forward at the last moment because D's original opponent didn't show up. He was the one who was actually having that pulled over excuse. But like we said before, he probably didn't even leave his house. He's canceled on me 2 times before this.
My friend and I literally drove for like 15-20 minutes all in different directions, because like coming down to where we are is pretty much one way in and out. So we can drive pretty much up the same road, and if you're not there, you're not there. We checked parking lots, we checked the school down by us to see if maybe he pulled in over there. We checked everything. We literally did like 3 laps, couldn't find anything, no sign of cops or anyone being pulled over, and it was just just vanished. Like Houdini, just woof, gone like the wind.
But the guy who actually stepped up and went up against D, for having no preparation, did pretty well.
And he was fighting a little out of his weight class. It was like a 25, probably 30-pound difference, I'd say. But still, really good fight, and we will have that uploaded to you guys soon.
So that does it for us today, ACF. And remember, if you want to compete in boxing or MMA for a match, hit us up on Instagram or on Facebook. Or if you need to settle a high-tense beef with someone you hate or have a grudge against, get it out in a healthy and a safe manner. See you guys next time.